If I was speaking to a business owner that hadn't ever really considered employee ownership, I'd mention a few things. Like the most obvious answer or option is private equity. You know, pretty quick, you're going to get a big pile of money. But then let's be honest, there's a little bit more than that. Number one, what's going to happen to your employees? What is going to happen to your company, your legacy? It might even have your name on it, but that's now in someone else's hands. Like for example, I know that Marcia, who's our longest tenured employee, would be gone within 6 months. She'd pass over logins, she'd pass over her stuff. We already have an accounting team, we don't need a bookkeeper, gone. And that's gonna happen to more and more people. Maybe they have to move to another city, maybe they have to whatever. Maybe the company, I mean, once you sign, let's be honest, once you sign, the company that bought you can do whatever they want. And so there's such a legacy of broken promises, people that can be upset, or are really ultimately disappointed. They have a pile of money, but they're ultimately a little disappointed at the end of the day. This method, this trust method, is not just some big altruistic thing. There are real business and personal benefits to owners that you get to take advantage of. Number one, I am slowly exiting my company because I've chosen to seller finance, and I'm slowly exiting. I'm going to get paid quite well. I'm still though in the company. I still get to run the company. I still have a tremendous amount of control and influence in it, and I'm slowly transitioning over to my employees. I have upside, just like many transactions do, where we have essentially an earn-out component based on company performance. But I get to slowly transition that. I get to do it in, let's just be frank, a pretty guilt-free manner. I mean, these people that helped build this company and have really contributed to my own personal wealth, they get to continue working at this company that they helped build. And increasingly, they'll get to benefit financially from it over time. And I think that's beautiful. At the same time, it's still the same company that we always built. I didn't have to get a little scared about handing that over to somebody. And so you have this legacy as well. So there's a lot of win-win things that happen with this that I feel are worth considering with this model. There's been plenty written that, hey, you flip a switch, you get your check, and you ride off into the sunset. But you really, I think, have to stop and think a little bit more about that. What are you going to do tomorrow? Right, you can only play so much golf or go on so much vacation. At that point, you might want a little more purpose and meaning. And this vehicle has all kinds of business benefits, but it also can give you a little more purpose and meaning and legacy to what you've built and what you've done. So certainly there's something there to that can be a little bit, I'm going to say a little bit, a lot more fulfilling and still just as much of a financially rewarding exit to your company. So we looked at other options for employee ownership. Do it yourself, I call it do it yourself, employee ownership, ESOPs, etc. And the thing about the trust model that's beautiful is how flexible it is. We are able to, I'm now living under the governance structure. It sounds very intimidating, but what it means is I had to actually have a board now. But it's very light the way that we designed it. We are able to have flexibility to change and modify things if we want to. And really, throughout this process, we were building our own financial model. We would like it to work like this, and then we would like it to work like that. And I kept waiting for the attorneys or the accountants to tell us, no, we couldn't do that. And the answer was always yes. So it's a tremendously flexible model. And that, as an entrepreneur who's always valued independence and flexibility, I feel like we're retaining all of that moving forward, which is a really beautiful, beautiful thing. We generally say, oh, you might sell to private equity and you get a check and ride off in the sunset. But that's not really true. We all know that very frequently the founder, owner, CEO is required to stay on for, I'm going to say it's typically, seems like it's about 2 years. And that might not be a really fun 2 years as well. So I'm avoiding that scenario where I have to stay 2 years and be an employee of someone else with the baby that I created. And so that's another really nice upside to this model is, no, I'm still completely on my own terms, running it my own way. It sounds very selfishly to say my, but ultimately I guess that's the way it is. I do get to retain more control. we had heard about the trust model a few years ago, and while appealing, what I think was missing was an organization that had financial knowledge, legal knowledge, and experience, and put it all together to really sort of guide us through the transaction. Because we had spoken to attorneys in the past, and there was a gap there between, okay, I understand conceptually from a legal standpoint, but how exactly do we get there? How do we structure this up? And that was the gap that Common Trust filled quite well, I'd say. They helped us get from, we would like to protect our purpose, we would like to protect this company, this is our goal, how do we get there? And the answer was, okay, cool, like, let's ask a few more clarifying questions, and let's start marching down this road, and let's talk about things you should be considering, things you might not be considering, things you haven't thought of yet, and just that pattern, walking us through the pattern and having been there before, was the missing piece for us. And it didn't take more than a call or two with Common Trust to go, yeah, this feels really good. These are the people that can help walk us through this process to implement this dream scenario of ours.